Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Nitin sir. A very warm and special welcome to you from Karya Naksha sir.
Thank you, Uma, for having me here for this really interesting and important conversation.
Sir, like the topic is the need of an hour. Like everybody, they want to know what is teletherapy and all. So I just want from your side what actually it is and how it is different from like face-to-face sessions and all.
So I now look at it in terms of not just teletherapy, but traditional offline face-to-face sessions, then your online face-to-face sessions, and then finally the teletherapy bit that we are speaking about. So the distinction is in traditional session, obviously you are going to a client's place, you are going to a practitioner's place, there's a cabin, there's a clinic space, and in that clinic space, there's a one-to-one conversation that's having with that you as a client are having with the practitioner. In online counseling now, it's the same thing. It's just that the meeting is happening over a Zoom or a Google Meet or some other teleconferencing software. It's still face to face. Yeah, but the practitioner and the client may be situated at different places altogether. And finally, you have teletherapy, which is therapy over a phone, where you're not physically seeing the client, you're hearing their voice, and you're having a conversation with them and trying to help them through that conversation. I hope that kind of provides a quick summary of all three forms of therapy.
Right, sir, right. So I just want to know how digital platforms and tools supports mental health care during emergencies.
See, so when there are emergencies, again, depends on what kind of emergency we are looking at, but let's say there is a natural calamity. There is, so COVID happened. Let's take that as an example, right? Now, there's a lockdown. You can't move out somewhere. Your life is getting affected because of that calamity. Plus, the fact that you're not able to move out, that you're not able to talk to someone, further adds to the anxiety, the discomfort that people may have. In these situations, if you don't have the ability or the opportunity to right now go out and meet someone face to face, maybe the internet connection is relatively poor, so you can't even do a online face to face counseling. Then digital therapy, teletherapy at least provides a sense of relief. That at least there's someone that I can talk to, that I can interact with. Now, along with on-call therapies, there's also chat-based therapy. Though again, the idea is uh, the same, that there's at least someone that you can reach out to, that you can seek help, and they can carry on a conversation with you so that you can feel heard, if nothing else. At least that much can happen over teletherapy and over chat-based therapy.
Perfect, sir.
So
Thank you
during
so much, sir.
emergencies, this becomes probably the fastest and the easiest way for people to seek help.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, what is the importance during the emergencies?
So, Uma, like I mentioned, during emergencies itself, because uh, face-to-face counseling requires an X amount of commitment. It also requires that you and the practitioner need to be at the same place. At times during natural calamities, during emergencies, you don't have that option available. So then in that case, what is the easiest way to get help? Teletherapy will be over a call. So that's the biggest advantage that teletherapy offers. It offers accessibility, which other forms of therapy may not offer as much. Huma, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Fine, sir. Okay. So, sir, if I ask you why technology particularly important is like ensuring mental health support during crises, such as, pandemics and natural disasters.
So, Huma, can you just repeat the question again? Why?
Why is technology particularly important in ensuring mental health support during crises as pandemics and natural disasters?
Super. So when we say technology, we are further expanding the scope of mental health support, right? Technology does not necessarily only mean a teletherapy or a online conferencing with a therapist. You can have mobile apps. Most of the mobile apps will allow you to um, have access to certain tools, even if you don't have online access available. So right now, if I want to restructure my thoughts and I can't reach out to a therapist, I don't have internet available. If my phone has an app where offline I can at least have a conversation with myself, identify what my current thoughts are, and work towards changing those thoughts, it can provide me a sense of relief, which I may very much be in need of right now. There are a lot of these mental health apps which will have mindfulness based activities, journaling, there are guided meditations. All of these further enhance and support our ability to seek support, though we are not able to seek support from a person right now, but at least technology is available to provide us with that immediate relief that we are looking for. Obviously, this is not a long term replacement. Neither the teletherapy, nor chat based therapy, nor digital apps can replace a therapy session with a client or with a therapist, right? But many a times when you are in a space where there is nothing else available, access to a therapist is not available, then this can become a very important makeshift arrangement that helps us keep going, that helps us ensure that we do what is required to be done till we are able to reach out to a therapist later on.
Right, sir. The other question that I would like to ask you, sir, how can teletherapy is a, how can teletherapy help individual who may not have, the access to in person, like in mental health professions during the emergencies?
So let's say someone has a so let's say there's flood that has happened. People have been able to save themselves. They've found a remote place where they are safe, but there's no accessibility right now. Their phone is working, and they're feeling very vulnerable. They're feeling very scared. Everyone around them is feeling equally scared, actually. Even some people may be even more scared. Now, in that case, if I'm looking for someone to support me, what will be the best way? If the phone is working, at least I can reach out to a teletherapist and have a conversation, and then the teletherapist can maybe just help me calm down and let me see what I can do going forward to keep myself safe, which will be difficult if I'm too afraid, because at times fear makes us do things which further creates additional problems. So what teletherapy does is it bridges the gap in emergency situations where access is not available to people for face-to-face sessions.
Right, sir. Sir, benefit of technology in mental health.
So there are So there are multiple benefits, right? There will be benefits for the clients, there will be benefits for the therapists. For the clients, the benefits would involve less convenience. Um, Even when there are no emergencies, it saves you time. You don't have to travel. So, for example, in a city like Bombay or Mumbai, if you have to go to a therapist for a 1 hour session, at times you have to travel 3 hours. If you are able to do therapy over a conference, over a Zoom meeting or a Google, over Zoom or Google. So what happens? Your 1 hour that is dedicated to therapy session is purely committed to that, and you're not worried about all the additional hassles that you have to overcome to reach your therapist. Next time when you're traveling to the therapist, let's say you're traveling in an auto and you end up having a fight with the auto. Well, now what happens? While you're in therapy for some other reason, mentally, you are still focused on what the auto owner said and did not say. So what you were there for is not getting met. So there's convenience, there's reduced travel time, there's reduced peripheral effort that we have to put in to be able to go to a therapist. Uh, Many times people do online counseling to their homes, which also provides them a sense of comfort. And they have a wider choice of therapy. When you are working physically face to face, you will probably at max go to a therapist in your own city. But if there's a therapist who's really good, you heard very good about, you had a conversation with him, and you realize the therapist can help you. But they are in a different city. Now you can't really on a weekly basis travel to another city for therapy. Because one, The therapy itself will cost you, and then second, the travel will cost you a lot more than the therapy itself. So if you keep all of this in mind, uh, from the client point of view, online therapy is a win-win. You don't really lose much as long as the setup is taken care of. And we'll come to that setup in a moment. I think therapist is also a lot of one. The cost of setting up a clinic in a city like Mumbai is huge. So if I can conduct sessions online, imagine the amount of money I save. And I think now with the same money, I will be able to reach out to more clients. I may be able to do more sessions for clients because I don't have to invest on that space and location and all of that. So it gives me wider reach. It saves my costs. It ensures the client who comes to me can be completely focused on the session rather than worrying about what happened while they were traveling for the session. And rather than worrying about what will happen when they have to travel back. So both from a client and from a therapist point of view, there are a lot of advantages for online therapy. Having said that, I am specifically distinguishing between online therapy and teletherapy because teletherapy is not the same. You want to be able to see the client generally when you are working with intense issues, deeper issues. Then teletherapy, you don't have the option to see the client. But if you are doing video conferencing based therapy, you have the best of both the worlds of teletherapy in terms of accessibility and of face-to-face session because you're actually able to work with clients, look at them, look at their body language through the screen, and still work with whatever issues they're facing.
Okay, sir. Great. Sir, what are key benefits of teletherapy for clients and therapists alike?
So these are the benefits that I've just shared with you, Uma, right now. That to summarize again, if I have to summarize again, for clients, it's convenience, reduced travel time, comfort of home, wider choice of therapists. For therapists, it will be flexibility, they have broader reach, it saves them cost, and ability to continue practicing even when there are emergencies where probably offline work may not be possible.
Right, sir. Perfect. Sir, if I want to know, like, how do digital support systems make therapy more accessible and flexible for people in urgent situations?
So, Uma, like I mentioned earlier, right? In an urgent situation, I may not have the mental bandwidth to actually reach out to a therapist, schedule a session, because for offline sessions, it will be very difficult for me to walk into a therapy center. Most therapists will have like a prefixed schedule that you need to call them up, you need to fix an appointment, you need to have a conversation prior before you begin the therapy. Now, right now, if I'm in an emergency situation, I don't have the time to do all of this, and I may not even have the mental bandwidth to do all of this. So at this time, if I have a phone number which I can just reach out to and talk to them, then it provides me, like I said earlier, the ability to calm down. It provides me with the support required for me to be able to make sense of what I need to do next. And then this teletherapy can eventually help me reach a space where I can reach out to a therapist and do a proper one-to-one session. But it provides that bridge, that ability to address the emergency situation before I look for a long-term solution.
Rightly said, sir. Rightly said. Sir, if we discuss this point, the topic is need of an hour, right? And the clients can be like student, college students, professionals, even families, So like the mental health is for all, right? And after pandemic, we all are facing some or other kind of a mental health problems, right? And like digital support is something like everybody from the new generation, the Gen Z, they all are having their support in their hand, but they are not utilizing it in right way. So if I ask you, sir, like as a professionals, how students can get benefit out of it?
See, so a couple of things, right? One, most students are actually very tech savvy now. Most students are more comfortable chatting over a chatbot as compared to talking to people, which is both good and bad in its own way, right? So the moment therapy is accessible over tech, and because of these people's comfort with tech, it becomes a lot more easier for them to break the ice. Also, earlier when you had to go to a therapist, you had to go into a clinic space. You're worried people will see. I don't know what will people say. Now you could be sitting in the comfort of your house as if you're talking to someone over a Google Meet and have a conversation with the therapist. No one really needs to even know that you're chatting with a therapist or you're working with a therapist. So with tech and with the comfort that teenagers have with tech, their openness to reach out to seek help is also increased dramatically. So traditionally, we kept talking about mental health and stigma, and people don't like going to a therapist. If you actually meet college students today, you'll realize most of them don't have those hangups. They're very comfortable with the idea that, yeah, I go to a therapist, yeah, I've spoken to my therapist. There's some support system that I follow on chat who provide me with some therapeutic support or some therapeutic help. Now, obviously, this is a different discussion how qualitative therapy they are receiving right now. That's a conversation for a different time. But at least they are open to seek help, and help is available to them in a format that suits them, that is comfortable for them.
Right. Right, sir. So as I know that we are having Aisha Support Foundation, who is helping the students and families, right? So this is again a very good example of a digital system, or I can say the support system that Aisha is giving to everyone. So, sir, if I ask you, what are the uh, misconception about the digital use or the support?
So one, okay, so it again depends on which category of digital support we are looking at. Some people confuse teletherapy with as an alternate to face-to-face therapy, which it is not. You can't really have a therapy over a call consistently, because when you're working with clients, you need to be able to see them, you need to be able to observe them. uh, if you are doing any process with them, you need to know whether they're able to go through that process or not. For example, if you're asking the client to breathe in and breathe out, you want to be able to notice whether they're able to breathe in the way they are supposed to or not, right? So there is a lot of component of therapist being able to observe the client, which in teletherapy is missing. So one misconception is that teletherapy is a replacement for face-to-face therapy. No, it's not. The same is true with chat-based therapy. It's not a replacement to face-to-face therapy. Then comes the online therapy. In many ways, online sessions which are happening over Zoom call or Google Meet, these are sessions which can be considered as replacement to offline sessions. Um, Except in cases where you're working with rehabilitation centers, you're working with patients or clients who are not in touch with reality, in which case for them working in an offline setup will be far better, right? But for most other issues, online sessions, online therapy where you're working via a video call is as effective as the offline sessions would be. So that is another myth, that online therapy cannot be as effective as offline therapy. It really depends upon the format you're looking at. Uh, Teletherapy not as effective, in my opinion. Online therapy will be as effective as offline therapy as long as you can keep the safeguards in mind.
Okay, sir. Sir, I ask you, how can these tools complement therapy rather than replace the human connection between therapist and the client? Like chat-based platforms, AI chatbot, mobile apps.
So I'll give you an example based on what we are doing. So we are right in the middle of a mobile app launch. We will be soon launching the Meet Goals app in the next couple of days, probably. Now, how are we making use of that app? So we understand that there are certain issues where you need to seek help from a therapist, right? The app will have registered therapists who have been trained by us personally, so we can vouch for their quality. So that's one level of support. Second, there are certain people who may not need therapeutic help right now, but they're looking at ways for certain self-help tools. So their life is good, it's going on fine, but they want to start taking care of their mental health today, so that they don't reach a place where they have an issue in future, right? So the app also will provide you with tools, features, activities. Huma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Yes.
So the tool will also be able, the app will also include activities like journaling, guided meditations. There's a complete goal setting module. There's a complete module for helping you identify your thoughts and restructure your thoughts. So there are a lot of self-help tools available to be able to help you take care of your mental and emotional well-being.
Right, sir. Right.
Right?
Thank you.
Uh, and then finally, when you're going to a therapist, sometimes a therapist will do an activity with you. They've done the activity one time in the therapy session. Now, those activities need to be repeated by you. The app will include those activities that therapists can recommend to you. That during the week, between the sessions, you can complete these activities because they are pre-recorded at the convenience of your fingertips. It's easier for clients to also complete those activities. So now what happens is your number of therapy sessions come down because what would have required you to go to a therapist every time, a part of the work therapists can do and repetitive work can be assigned to the app. You also have self-help tools on the app to help yourself sustain your mental and emotional well-being. And once the therapy sessions are over, then the app also has tools that ensure that you can remain independent and you don't have to keep going back to therapists for everything. So I think the mobile app, the technology does provide you with a lot of tools to help people enhance their emotional mental well-being and to support their therapeutic journey.
Perfect, sir. I can say self-empowered techniques are there, right?
So
They
there
are
are
going to learn by
self-empowered techniques. There are self-empowered techniques. There are also techniques that the therapist will recommend to you because
right.
based on the work that they've done with you, they recognize that already there's one particular technique that will be more useful for you. So during this week, you need to practice this technique. So it provides a
Right.
good mix of self-help and guided support through therapists.
Thank you so much, sir. So the other thing is that I want to know, like, ethics, privacy, and safety. What is your opinion for this digital support?
So when you're working with digital therapies, there are a few precautions that you need to keep in mind. Right? So one is um, if I'm working with a client online face to face, as in over a Google Meet or Zoom, like I said earlier, then I want to know that the client's internet connection is stable, my internet connection is stable. There are precautions in place that during the course of the therapy, if the internet connection breaks, then how do I reach out to client immediately? Next, the client should be in a space where privacy is possible. So if the client is seeking therapeutic help online, but in the room that they are sitting in, their parents are also sitting. There are people having a conversation in the background. There are people who are coming and disturbing them over and over again. Then for this client, online sessions are not useful. If a person is in a space where privacy is a concern, for example, in a city like Mumbai, again, people live in a 1 BHK. So it will be very difficult for a person to throw everyone out of their house or have a therapy session right now. Now, in that case, it may be better to actually go and visit a therapist for an offline session. So the confidentiality, the privacy, um, the safety, all of this needs to be maintained and taken care of by the therapist. And generally, most therapists, when they work online, they understand this. They do take care of all of these things.
Rightly said, sir. Rightly said. Sir, I just want to know the accessibility and inclusivity of this.
Uh, so let's break it down, right? Where nothing else works. Internet connection is very poor, therapists are not available, it's a remote area. Then phone based counseling is at least a good starting point. It provides people with some support. Um, if internet connection is reliable and people have the ability to have privacy, then online sessions can be very effective. And where internet connection is not available or privacy is a concern, then offline sessions, one-to-one sessions can become very, very important. Now, how can they be offered? There are mental health helplines. There are subsidized NGOs who support sessions. There are companies that are now doing CSR initiatives to support people to get more accessible, to make mental health more accessible. So there are a lot of efforts being taken along with digital push for mental health to ensure that mental health becomes accessible for as many people as possible. And I would really request any corporate who is having CSR funding that I understand there are a lot of immediate concerns where you want to do CSR donations. Believe me, in coming years, probably mental health will become the, if it already is, if you don't see it right now, in coming years you will notice that mental health will probably become the biggest pandemic that you will look at around you. So please start taking steps from now on. If you have CSR fundings, start doing those fundings, start taking up projects which are related to mental health. There are NGOs which are out there seeking help, supporting help. There are local organizations that are providing partnerships and support. Please support them, please help them. If you don't know who you can help them, please reach out to us and we will help you connect with them, or we can help you understand some of the projects that we have and see if you are interested in any of them.
Rightly said, sir. What I am generally, looking this, many students are under pressure, under stress. Many do the suicide also. So again, I'll say this is need of an hour. Those who can't go for the counseling directly, they can use this, digital support. So this, like, I just want to know more about the future outlook, sir, for this.
Future of a, so first, to come to what you had mentioned earlier about children committing suicide and so on. So see, there are two parts to it, right? There's the child and there's also the parents. And many times, because parents are not able to provide the supportive environment that's required for the child also ends up doing what they've done. So in this case, both the child and the parent need therapy. And the more accessible the therapy is, the better it is. So accessibility helps both. Second, as far as the future is concerned, we are living in the age of AI. There will be more and more AI based apps which will be available. Again, for a time being, people will feel that AI will be able to replace a therapist. So while it can support therapy sessions, and like I said, we are in the process of launching a mobile app, so I understand how much support and help AI can create for therapists and for clients both. But it's not replacement for therapy, right? Which is one. Second, AI has its own limitations. At times, AI will end up recommending certain things to you, which can be even more dangerous than otherwise. So, supervision of AI with collaboration of therapists will be very, very important. But yes, AI is here to stay, and AI will play an important role going forward, even in mental health and support. You will also begin to notice what what we call as virtual reality, where there will be virtual reality based therapy sessions that you will do for clients. More and more therapists will move to hybrid models where they would want to create a balance between the online and the offline sessions. Where online is possible, they would like to do online, and then if online is not possible for a client, then they will also offer an offline session. This is generally the model that we follow, right? And plus, with internet, with accessibility, with AI, you will notice more and more investment coming in this field, uh, both because it's the need of the hour and it will also have a huge profitability um, potential. And there are global collaborations that will be possible, which may not have been possible till a few years back, especially with the kind of internet that we were having in India earlier. But now I think all of those options are open. So that's where I see the future going for mental health.
Rightly said, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, you are discussing about the AI, the use of AI. Generally, all students, even the seniors are also using the AI to, get the right, I can say the right help. But with the right guidance, the right trained experts, again, manually, they need the right guidance. Like without
See, like I said,
everything is having. Yes, sir. Please.
so like I said, all at this point, right? I don't know where AI will go, what will happen in future, how far AI will end up developing. But as of today, right, and in the near future, AI can become a very powerful supportive mechanism, a supportive tool. There's no doubt. It can help people sustain their emotional mental well-being. But it will not be a replacement to therapy, at least not yet. Because where there are people who struggle with intense emotions, where there are traumas, there are people who struggle with loneliness. Now, imagine if I'm feeling very lonely and the person who's supposed to help me is a bot. How much more lonely would that make me feel? Right? So, depending upon the problems, the challenges, none of this, at least as yet, will replace therapy. They can at best be a good supportive tool to support the therapeutic journey that people have, better space, then to also be able to help them maintain and sustain their emotional mental well-being.
Right, sir. Right. So again, coming back to the same topic, teletherapy and the face-to-face therapy, sir. So I believe in face-to-face therapy, whether it's online, offline. But again, like I won't go with the AI suggestions with googling the right direction where to go, how to self-help. I agree there are n number of techniques and therapies are there, but without right guidance, right trained experts, we are again zero.
No, plus the risks involved are very high, right? So you use, I'll give you the example of meditation, right? Uh,
Right,
for so long, people believe that meditation, for people who meditate, their life is better. That meditation is the solution to all problems. When in reality, there are certain meditations which can actually create more harm if you do them in the wrong emotional state.
right,
So unless you have someone who's able to guide you and at least find out which is the right meditation to do. Okay, you may do the meditation over an app, but someone still needs to be able to guide you to select what the right meditation is for you, right? So again, good supportive tools, but not a replacement. And for those of you who are watching us, who are listening to us, um, it's important that at least once you have a conversation with the therapist before jumping into any of these self-help tools. Sometimes information available on the internet is ridiculous, to say the least, right? And AI is built based on information which is freely available on the internet.
right.
So it can also give as ridiculous an answer as a Google search would give. So don't blindly depend on it. Please be careful, seek help, reach out to a therapist once, at least seek therapy to check whether what I found on internet is right or not. Can I actually use those self-help tools with myself or not?
Rightly said, sir. Because prescription is only done by the doctors, not by the AI. Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time that you spare with us, and hoping for you the best future and healthy and prosperous year ahead, sir.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you for having me here. Wishing you all the best too. And to the Career Naksha community, I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. You found it useful. And if you need any help, any support, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to Uma, and I'm sure Uma can help you with any details that you need about us. So thank you. Good night. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Happy Dussehra and Diwali.
Thank you, and wish you the same. Bye bye. Take care.